welcome to episode number 3 of the Medford Media Mustang podcast. My name is Leonard Kaplan, and I'm with Brian Hunt, one of my students who has just finished a very interesting, intriguing documentary on Wolverine and his portrayal in the movies. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So Brian, how did you get the idea for this documentary? How long have you been thinking about it? And describe the process in which you got it made.
Oh, the idea of the documentary goes back to 3 years ago. I had, this is going to be a little bit of a long story, so I apologize.
That's okay.
I was in a Wolverine kick, if you know what I mean. I was in such a huge mood, huge Wolverine mood, where I was just obsessed with Wolverine from the movies portrayed by Hugh Jackman. And I was heavily excited for the at the time upcoming film Logan, or as everybody was calling it at that time, Wolverine 3, because it didn't really have an official title yet. And I always wondered, what the heck would... And I always wondered, I would like to see a documentary on this guy, on this character, and the actor portraying him. I think it would be a very intriguing documentary, and at that time, I found out a couple of interesting facts, like how he was supposed to be in the very first Spider-Man movie and appear in a cameo, but they couldn't really find his costume, so his cameo had to be scrapped because of that.
I had never heard that. Very interesting fact right there.
Thank you. And then I realized, and then it came to media. We were doing documentaries, and I didn't really know what to do. But then I thought to myself for a second, and I just went, wait a minute. That Wolverine documentary I had in my head a couple years ago, I could do that. And so I did a little bit more research. I typed up a script, and then I ended up recording my dialogue, shooting the scenes, getting some footage from the movies, and then editing it all together, and that's how you got my documentary.
Very interesting process there, because this particular documentary is a little bit different than some that have been done by the other students in the studio, in that there are no live people that you interviewed. Everything was gotten, including the visuals, video, and stills from the internet.
Although some of them were actually taken by me, like there's a shot of Hugh Jackman's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Right.
I actually took that almost 2 years ago when I was in California.
What intrigued you, or still intrigues you, about Hugh Jackman and the Wolverine character?
What intrigues me about Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine character is that, unlike a lot of movie characters, I mean, not to say that they're bad, I mean, I still love a lot of film characters like Indiana Jones or whatnot. But what really intrigues me about Hugh Jackman in that particular role is that whenever I saw him acting, I never really saw a fictional character in a movie. I saw a real-life person, because it felt very real. It felt like a real person dealing with real problems.
So that's very interesting, because that's an actual acting technique. When an actor totally believes in himself or herself in the role, it makes the role more interesting and real. And no matter if it's a superhero or fantasy of some other story, or no matter what it's about, as long as the actor is a real believer in himself as that character, it projects to the audience, and obviously it did that with you.
Definitely. I mean, the amount of dedication he did for this role when doing my research is just amazing. I mean, he started off as a very skinny guy, and then he worked out at the gym for like 3 months straight, and he also ate chicken and spinach just to get himself muscular for the role.
That's very interesting. I've heard in the past of actors gaining weight for a role, like Robert De Niro has done that a few times, but I didn't realize the dedication. I don't know much about Hugh Jackman except from you, actually. Now, the film Logan that was coming out at the time you were inspired, wasn't that his last appearance as Wolverine?
Yes, it was. And I was just, at that time, I was just excited, and I remember just the set photos coming out of that movie. I was on the internet constantly about it. I was watching production for the movie like a hawk on the internet. I was like, when I first just saw those set photos, I'm like, Hugh Jackman is just looking old. I can't wait to see what this movie's about. You know, he just looks so old, and he has a wicked beard. And you see Patrick Stewart back as Professor X, and he looks older than usual. You know, what's this little girl? Is she Wolverine's daughter or something? You know, I really want to see this movie. I can't wait for the trailer. And I remember one day when the trailer came out, I was talking about the movie to my Italian class teacher, and then at the end of class, me and her just started watching the trailer to Logan.
Very interesting. Now, what year was that movie, Logan?
2017.
2017. So here we are in 2019. Are there any signs of Mr. Jackman doing any other movies unrelated to Wolverine?
Yes. I have actually looked up a lot of stuff. He's now doing an animated film, stop motion. I think it's called The Missing Link. He's doing a voice in that. It looks very cool. He just recently did a movie. I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but I really want to see it. It's called The Front Runner, and it's a biopic of a man named Gary Hart.
Now, Gary Hart, that's the name of a wrestling manager. That wouldn't be the same man, would it?
No.
No, okay.
It's of a politician.
I see. I know, that Gary Hart, yes.
Yes.
I know who that was, yes. Anyway, so we can expect to see your documentary. What is the name of your documentary?
He's the best there is at what he does. That's the name of it.
He's the best there is at what he does. Will be seen here on Channel 15, Medford Mustang Media's station. And is there anything else you'd like to say, Brian?
No, I think I've talked your ears off long enough. I don't really have anything else.
All right. We hope everybody will tune in for that, and we're going to try to do more podcasts in the future and spotlight some of the other members of the Medford Mustang studio here. I'm Leonard Kaplan signing off with Brian Hunt. Thanks for joining us.